Welcome to a very special edition of TFL Talking Trucks podcast because I'm out and about. I'm in Michigan, actually at Stellantis and Ram's Chelsea Proving Grounds, which is a very special opportunity. But I want to take this chance to show you basically the entire lineup of Ram pickup trucks. Of course, that badge you just saw on this particular truck I'm standing next to is that V8 badge. Ram calls it the symbol of protest, but really it designates the 5.7 liter HEMI that's making its return for 2026. And these trucks can be ordered now. You can go out and buy one already. And I'll tell you a lot about the pricing throughout this video, but I'm also gonna show you and we can go for a drive in some of these trucks. But if you look over here, ignore the wonderful engine noises though. You could see there's a whole lineup of trucks. So I can actually show you not just one truck or two trucks. I can show you, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, including the heavy duties too. Because there are some changes for 2026. There are new models, a little bit more value-oriented models, which I'm really appreciating. There are new colors. This is called that Canyon Lake that I'll show you on a Ram RHO in a second. I'm also gonna do a top speed run in the RHO, and I'm gonna try to go very, very fast, as fast as the truck will allow here at the Proving Grounds. But this truck that you're seeing here is also doing some towing. So it's pulling this really wonderful classic little Red Express truck, which you probably know if you're an enthusiast of pickup trucks. You can kind of already picture it in your mind, but it's a 2-door classic Dodge Ram with double stacks. It looks like a little tiny semi big rig, but of course it's really small. Adventure 150 it's called, really. I mean, it's really doesn't have a really big wheelbase, but it has a really fun kind of bed with wood. You can see this wood inlays on the back, and it's really sweet, 1979. So I was talking to the guys who are running the event, and well, first of all, this is just amazing to look at. But I asked, why is it here? And they're like, well, it's just for fun, but it's also showing what the Ram 1500 can tow. But also it's not pushing the truck very much, because this trailer, according to the Ram team here, weighs about 6,100 pounds, just over 6,000 pounds. And the Ram HEMI can tow up to around 10,000 pounds plus. So this is not maxing out the truck, but it's still a really fun way to show what is possible, what the Ram trucks can do. And here's another truck I can show you right behind here. This truck is in white, and it's pulling another little trailer. That one is a little bit lighter and just shows kind of how Ram people and engineers might actually test the trucks they're working on. It's using these kind of rubber mats and some steel, and just to kind of weigh down this trailer so they can fine-tune the weight. This is around almost 4,000 pounds altogether with this trailer. So these trailers that usually at these events are not very heavy, but it's kind of a demonstration of what these trucks can do, because there are many journalists here and some of them maybe haven't towed a trailer yet, so you can't really give them a maximum load trailer and just set them off on the Proving Grounds or maybe on the streets and highways out there. So just kind of a representation, a little look behind the scenes about how some of these events, kind of first drive events, are organized. I was looking at this trailer, and one easy way to tell how heavy it is to count the lug nuts on the hub here of the axle. And if it's 5, it's probably a lighter trailer. So this is a tandem axle, dual axle trailer. But because I'm just eyeballing this, these are probably like 3,500 pound axles a piece. So the capacity of this trailer, this flat deck, is about 7,000 pounds. So that's just according to my eyeballs. If you see 6 lug nuts or 8, those are heavier axles. and the weights of those trailers will be much greater, of course. And of course, it moves on from there. But also, I wanted to show you what's on the inside of some of these trucks. And this is a Laramie. And gosh, I think Ram is one of the best when it comes to kind of materials, the way they put them together, the choices they offer. There's a lot of different choices and varieties of interiors. Laramie used to be really kind of a middle of the road trim, but now looking at this interior that I'm showing you now, it almost seems like a high-end luxury truck, especially, you know, the way this steering wheel looks. Also cool over here, there's active driver assist, basically hands-free driver system available on this truck, and also the eye monitor right there on top of the steering column. So these trucks have some of the latest technologies to rival the Blue Cruise technologies from Ford and the Super Cruise technologies from GM. I just want to show you that V8 really quick while we're here. Underneath the hood. There she is. So you can still see that HEMI 5.7 liter V8. You can see this e-torque motor generator. It's belt driven, so the serpentine belt in the front of the engine to drive some of the other accessories like the AC and the water pump and several others. It's also connected to the electric motor generator. So basically it can shut down the V8 when you're sitting still. All the other systems can be running. So that's very smooth. And the engine restart, it kind of smooths it out. And then also kind of fills in some torque as you're driving. So it's a really mild system. You cannot drive on electricity alone, but that's the way it's been. A lot of space here in this engine bay. So even though this is a kind of a large V8 engine, this engine bay is still huge, humongous. Lots of space here. Okay, so now what should we do next? I think I want to show you the RHO, show you some of the new things that Rem is doing there, and then I can show you some other trucks, and then we can get a little bit of taste of the off-road experience here at the Proving Grounds. So let's go and do that. Yes, now it's time to drive the RHO. So the truck I'm in right now is the 2026 model. So the RHO is the kind of the top dog currently in the Ram sport truck lineup, at least for the 1500 half tons. And for 2026, it's still here. And the most important part, I think, is that the price remains the same. $69,995 before destination, but destination charge is $21,995. So putting you at about 72 and change. So we're here at the Proving Grounds, Chelsea Proving Grounds of Stellantis, and we have a chance to experience all these trucks. And yeah, the RHO is fun. Let's do a top speed run a little bit. So I'm accelerating. This is a closed course, kind of a racetrack area. And we're hitting about 110, 114, 116, 117, 118. So 118 is a software limited number. Basically, the truck has more power. It has 540 horsepower, but what's limiting the truck is actually the tires. Thank you. There's somebody directing me here. What's limiting the truck is the tire technology, and it goes the same if you're in an F-150 Raptor, some other high-performance trucks, including some of the electric trucks like the Hummer EV and many others, including the Cybertruck. The tire technology in the truck is really kind of what's limiting you. Let's go for another quick loop. Maybe we can do a drag race. What do you guys think? No, I'm just kidding. So 118, you just saw that, and it felt easy. And the truck obviously has more power. All right, I don't want to. Somebody's filming right there on the side of this track, so I'm not gonna go super crazy right now. But really the tire itself, as the speed grows, the centripetal force is actually making the tire expand a little bit. So the tire gets larger and larger with speed, and there's a certain limit to it because it's also an all-terrain tire. It has to do a lot of things. It has to put the power to the ground. It has to go off-road. It has to perform every day. It has to be relatively quiet. So with modern trucks, really the limiting factor is your tire technology. But I mean, if you're going 118 anywhere in the public, I mean, that's basically illegal, and you will be very likely in jail for doing such speed. So, I mean, that's plenty quick. But cruising just at about, 75 or 80 or 85, and the sound of this exhaust system, I need to show you the exhaust, and you have to listen to it. So, I'll do a couple things. We're gonna pull off. I will kind of show you around the truck because it has a new exterior color. The price, like I basically said, remains the same, basically, which I think is super great because a lot of manufacturers are increasing their prices year to year. The destination charge may have increased slightly, but I want to show you exterior of this truck, talk a little about some of the other features. This is a straight six, high output, twin turbo, like I was mentioning, 540 horsepower, and currently there is no TRX here, right? So the CEO of Stellantis recently at the earnings call did mention that a TRX will be returning, and he did mention V8. So we're all expecting a V8 powered Hellcat supercharged powered TRX to come back in some way. So it's not here yet. It's not at this event. It's not anywhere I've seen here at the proving grounds. But how about this? Let me show you the outside of the truck, and then you could listen to this new optional MagnaFlow exhaust. Let's go outside. So this truck is still large and in charge, and this is the new color. I think, well, it's really cloudy, kind of rainy day right now. This color is called Canyon Lake. It's kind of this, I would call it green. It's kind of the base color of this. It's really hard to kind of explain it. You have to see it in person, but it's not one of those concrete colors. There's another one right there. A Ram 1500 driving around in the same color. I think this is very attractive. It's only available in 2026, and this color is no additional charge. It's pretty neat. I like when manufacturers, just not do just like whites and grays and blacks, but actually have some interesting colors, and also are not charging for it. So that's pretty special. Here are those tires I was talking about, and of course this truck has been off-road in previous days. We're gonna take it off-road in a little bit. So you can see it's kind of dirty. It's a 325 65 R18, and a 325 width. It's one of the widest tires actually in the industry. Some of the other tires are like 315s or 305s. 325 is actually pretty beefy. So that's pretty nice. It's a wide body truck. It's got a lot of suspension travel. You can see the fenders kind of bulging out. It's got that TRX style. It's got the hood scoop, high output Hurricane engine badge right here on the side of the hood as well. And it's got Bilstein shocks. They're semi-active, adjustable. Let me pop the hood really quick so I can show you the engine. So it's got basically the same specs from 2025, but what's different between the RHO and the older TRX that preceded it is that the engineers at Ram were able to tune the suspension because the weight shifted a little bit. This straight six that's hiding well underneath this cover is kind of low and a little bit back. It also weighs less than a supercharged V8. So the weight distribution shifted on this truck. As such, the engineers were able to kind of shift the suspension a little bit, retune it, and also give it different modes. For example, it's a little bit more tail happy if you set it in kind of an off-road mode and you're on gravel or dirt. So it's kind of a little bit more fun in my opinion, because you can kind of hang the tail out a little bit more when you want to. And of course it's composed when you want it to be as well. So they kind of tuned it a little bit. But the power remains the same from 2025 to 2026. And you can see the engine bay here. Thank you for joining us. If you're listening to us, sorry, you may be missing just a little bit. But if you're watching us on TFL Talk, also thank you very much. And by the way, the kind of the ram airflow hood, you can kind of see the air comes from the hood scoop. There's a little bit, I think, of a dirt. So some of the dirt goes back here, or some of the air goes to the back of the engine. And then some of the air goes right here and dumps on the passenger side into this very, very large air filter that looks to be like an oil type, where you kind of have to, it's kind of reusable. So this looks pretty impressive. And you saw that. It was so easy to reach 118 miles an hour in this truck, just in a short, maybe a quarter mile area that I was on this kind of road back here. But now I want to make a little pause. Well, before I do that, let me show you the exhaust pipes. So for about $2,100, you could get this optional direct connection Mopar exhaust system. This is a 5-inch tip, and basically it's kind of a catback system. So it's still a dual system. There's dual outlets. They look a little bit larger, and they sound a little bit louder. And I think RHO really needed this. And there's two different levels of the Magnaflow exhaust that they'll be offering. There's kind of the base version of that system, and then a slightly more upgraded version. So, but the base system is about $2,100 optional, additional to the cost of the truck. And if you're already spending at least $72,000 plus, I think you might just invest into that exhaust system, and maybe even get that level 1 package for another 10 grand, and then you have a very comfortable, luxurious truck that's also very high performance. But what if you don't have $72,000 or $82,000? How about this? So for 2026, the Warlock returns. So this is the Ram 1500 Warlock, and it's right below where RHO and the Rebel are. So in the hierarchy, the top dog currently is that RHO. Then there is a Rebel. I don't see the Rebel here just this minute. And then there's this Warlock package. And this logo suggests something. Basically, it's got a HEMI under the hood. 5.7 liter HEMI is coming back, as you probably already know, into the Ram 1500 lineup. And it's e-torque system. You could see it right there, labeled e-torque. And it's a mild hybrid. And it basically, not really for efficiency, but that e-torque system has been around since 2019. Many of you are not a fan of it. I'm kind of okay with it. I've never had a problem. We used to own a 2019 5.7 liter HEMI e-torque, and I think we put about 20,000 miles on it without any issues. But of course, that's a limited amount of miles and time. That was about 1.5 years. But it's coming back with 395 horsepower. But let's say you didn't want this engine. The Warlock, the way you see it here, it's a crew cab with a shorter bed, 5-foot 7-inch bed with a V6 Pentastar engine. Starts at $54,000 approximately. Actually, exactly, I'm checking my notes, $54,010. That's a lot of value, because look, you have 33-inch tall tires, LT 275 70 R18s. These are really beefy tires, Duratrax. You also have those blue shocks, those are Bilsteins. Basically, very similar suspension setup to the Rebel. Of course, this is not live semi-active suspension. These are not Bilstein Black Hawk E2s, but This is a little bit more basic, but the price is also lower, right? You could also get the Hurricane, so the 3-liter standard engine, SST, straight 6 turbo. That's 420 horsepower, and that costs about $1,800. And then over that, I'm sorry, SST is $1,700. And then this is $1,200 more than the V8 is $1,200 above that SST turbo. But what does that include? That also includes GT high performance exhaust straight away, and also a 33-gallon fuel tank. So every HEMI, when you order the HEMI, you get the bigger tank. So you're upgraded from 26 gallons to 33, which gives you a lot more usable range every day. And also, if you're pulling trailers with your pickup truck, you also have that available to you. So actually that sounds like a lot of money. So you're paying over the base V6 Pentastar, $1,700 plus $1,200, that's about $2,900. But I think you're still getting value. You're getting that V8 performance, great sound, and then you're getting the bigger tank and that exhaust system that used to be optional and now is standard. Plus, in the Warlock, you're getting really an off-road capable vehicle straight out of the box. And also, we can peek in here, somebody else has their camera set up, 6-person configuration. So you see that seat in the middle, right there. I'm not gonna move it right now, but you have that as well. So that starts at about 54. But how would I order my favorite Ram truck? I'll let you know near the end of this podcast. I'll let you know how I would configure if I was buying a truck today. From all of these, I'll tell you how I would configure mine. Over here, here's another Warlock. We're not gonna spend much time here. But here now, there's something interesting. Now we're getting into the heavy duty portion of this podcast. And here you see a lineup of 2026 Ram heavy duties. I have a little bit more deeper kind of first drive with the Ram heavy duty. But the truck you see here looks pretty fancy, but it's actually a lot of value built into it. This is the new 2026 Ram Heavy Duty 2500 Black Express. It's basically kind of a sport appearance package, but I would wager it offers a lot of value, but it has that look, monochromatic, so body color, grille surrounds, blacked out grille, sport hood with that unfortunately fake hood scoop. That scoop on the RHO was not fake. It is unfortunately fake on the heavy duty. This is a Cummins. Cummins is a quite an expensive option, almost $13,000 for the Cummins. But if this was the 6.4 liter Hemi, that's also available in these heavy duty trucks. This truck would start at just over $53,000 for a 2-wheel drive crew cab truck that looks similar to this with a Hemi. So that's a lot of capability. You're getting a heavy duty vehicle, you're getting 4 doors, room for 6. Once again, this has that middle seat that can be used as for passenger. You're getting a 12-inch infotainment screen, fairly nice interior for kind of more of a basic truck. This is really kind of built on top of a tradesman, so it starts life as a work truck, but then Ram adds a few of these kind of little tasteful features and technology features. They also add the tubular side step. So on the outside, you can see the side step as well. And this is a 4x4 Cummins, so this is not 53,000 because the Cummins is almost 13,000. Then the 4-wheel drive system is like $3,500 or maybe a little bit less. So this is closer to like 70 grand. But still, I think a lot of value here. This is 26 heavy duty Black Express. And over here, right next to it, is the new heavy duty Warlock. So that light duty Warlock I just showed you has a bigger brother now. This is the first time that Ram is introducing a Warlock package on their heavy duty. And it's actually very similar to their Rebel, heavy duty Rebel package, because using basically the same 20-inch wheel and this 34-inch tall Goodyear Wrangler tire. Although the aspect ratio of this tire is pretty small, overall it's a pretty large 34-inch, and it's got Bilstein shocks here as well. And off-road ready. It's got limited slip rear differential. It's got very similar interior to the Black Express, and also the price of the heavy-duty Warlock 4x4 with a gas V8 starts at just over 57 grand. So once again, quite a lot of value baked into this truck. But of course, once you add the Cummins and a few other options like the tonneau cover, bed liner, 2.4 kilowatt power export system in the bed, the price ratchets up and up and up. And the sticker on this puppy, this particular heavy-duty Warlock, is at around 75 grand. So, which is actually almost identical to what we paid for a 2025 Chevy heavy-duty 2500 Silverado Trail Boss. So this, I would say this is a direct competitor to the Duramax heavy-duty Trail Boss that we have in our long-term test fleet. And then also, if you look at the grills, here we have a heavy-duty Rebel, and then because it has a unique grill. By the way, this is kind of controversial. It looks like a heavy-duty, almost like a fence, but some people don't like that. And of course, the Power Wagon returns basically the same way, the way it was. It returns for 2026, and the pricing is as such. Let me check my notes really quick. The heavy-duty Rebel starts at around, with a HEMI, starts at around 70,700. So a truck like this. The Power Wagon starts, it only comes with a HEMI, still no Cummins, 74,000. So that's the progression. About 57,000 for that Warlock, about 70,000 for heavy-duty Rebel, and 74,000 for the Power Wagon. Now the Power Wagon has a slightly smaller tire than the Rebel. That's approximately a 33-inch, maybe a little bit less. But you could see a lot more space between the tire and the fender, and that's because it has a lot more articulation, a lot more. And Cole, if we can come around here, if you could show this area. So this area is different on the Power Wagon than all the other heavy-duty Rams, and that this little area, this articulink kind of connection, allows for more articulation, which we've driven Power Wagons over the last couple of decades, and we've shown them to you. And like Nathan says, Power Wagon don't care because front locker, rear locker, selectable, disconnectable front sway bar, lots of articulation, V8 power. The shortcomings of the Power Wagon, I think, still maybe the tire size, payload, and towing are not very good in the Power Wagon. But off-road capability in a heavy-duty vehicle, there's almost nothing like it, especially because also comes with a winch. Standard winch on the Power Wagon, which is included in that 74,000 price. So that's the heavy-duty lineup for Ram for 2026. Of course, not every truck is here because I don't see a two-door, two-wheel drive base Ram heavy duty. That truck starts, if I check my notes, that truck starts at 47,660. So if you wanted just the most affordable heavy duty truck with a V8, two-wheel drive, 8-foot bed, two doors, very simple, 47,600. I'm not talking about incentives and discounts or dealer discounts or anything else. I'm talking about sticker prices, MSRP prices. 47,600 is where the Ram heavy duty lineup starts. And just like that, by magic, I am sitting behind the steering wheel of the new 2026 Ram heavy duty Warlock. This is the first kind of iteration, at least in the modern era, of a heavy duty truck with a Warlock off-road package. And the idea is to make an affordable off-road package, but still have it in a heavy-duty truck. So it slots in below the Rebel heavy-duty, and below the Power Wagon. And I'll tell you more detail about this truck in a little bit, but here I just wanted to kind of show you the off-road experience. And the first obstacle here are the concrete steps that I have to climb. So once again, diesel engine, I have 4 low enabled. This has a limited slip rear differential, so I cannot push any buttons, but the truck will be able to detect slip. And also, yeah, I mean, just low gearing and off we go. Okay, so now I have got David here in the cabin with me. David works at Ram, and he's kind of showing me the route basically, because I haven't been here much, so I need some help. So the idea is if I can go diagonally, I should be able to just make it.
Perfect.
And I did. And these tires are the Goodyear Wrangler Duratrax. They're mounted on a 20-inch wheel, and it's basically the diameter is about 34 inches. So that actually looked pretty easy. The whole key is when you're doing a step like that, if you come up to it at perpendicular angle, you kind of have a giant obstacle that both tires have to overcome. And if you're diagonal, one tire overcomes it and then kind of brings up the other tire with it. So that's kind of an easier line. So that was pretty nice. This is one of the trails, right? There's more trails than this.
Right. Yep. Yeah, this is
one of the trails.
Trail rating validation trails we use.
Yeah, so as David is saying, sorry if you cannot hear him all the way, but as David is saying, this is one of the primary off-road trails for validation of new vehicles as the Stellantis engineering team is developing and validating some of these new vehicles. But the heavy-duty truck is not something that's very compact. Obviously, this is a crew cab vehicle with a 6-foot 4-inch bed, and some of these bushes and trees are overgrowing a little bit, and it's raining slightly off and on. We've been seeing some rain, so this trail is pretty tight, but the wheelbase of the Ram Heavy Duty, at least in this configuration with a 6-foot 4 bed, the wheelbase is a little bit shorter than some of the competitive trucks from Ford and GM. So from that standpoint, this truck is a little bit more maneuverable in my opinion, as far as just overall size. So now we're gonna go over this mound and we're gonna dip down into a water feature, which is actually a little tiny, well, I don't know, puddle, but it's a part of the trail. And it may be hiding some rocks, so I can't fly through here at a higher speed. I have to, do you want to show that, Cole? I have to go very slowly through this feature. So you guys are getting kind of a behind the scenes look of the areas that Ram and other Stellantis brands like Jeep and others can be using to validate some of the off-road vehicles they're working on. Really cool. The next feature is rock pile. I mean, we're already on rocks, but now we're even more rocks. And I do have, even though this is kind of an affordable trim, the 4x4 Warlock heavy duty with a HEMI 6.4 liter starts at just over $57,000. I still have a pretty nice screen. It's a 12-inch vertical display. I do have some gauges, including some of my vital signs here: transmission temp, oil temp, coolant temp, oil pressure, battery voltage. But I also have pitch and roll. And I have to go very slowly here because there are some sharp rocks. I think I'm scraping just a tad. Sorry, David.
Yeah, no, that's what the vehicle's built for, right?
Yeah.
That's why this package comes with the off-road skid plate group as well, right?
And so,
traction aid.
And so it does have the tubular side steps too.
Yep.
So they're kind of nice because you can climb up them, makes entry into the vehicle easier. But when you are climbing over rocks, you just have to be mindful of that. Those steps can hang down. And if you're in the Power Wagon, for example, you have other options in the Ram lineup, the Power Wagon may have like a rock slider or a kind of a rocker protector, a little bit more tucked in. So you could have different options for side steps. This particular truck, as a Warlock package, does come with those tubular side steps. So it's okay. We're one touch, and then we're moving on. We're off to the next obstacle. So this video podcast is really kind of showing, I wanted to show every single Ram truck built, but we are kind of focusing on certain trim levels. The trim levels that are here are primarily some of the more off-road ready trims, also basically all crew cab, and some of the fancier trims that I showed you in the beginning. Like for example, there's not like a basic work truck I could show you, or there's not certain other trims that you might be wondering about. But this is a great representation nonetheless of what's available from Ram right now as we speak. And we're talking about 2026 model year, which is actually 2026 Ram heavy duty trucks are already at dealers. I was just recently looking at our local dealer in Colorado. They had many different 2026 heavy duties on the lot in their inventory. The Ram 1500s, the 2026s, are coming from the factory as we speak. So they should be available quite soon. Some of them are maybe already arriving at some dealers. So this is not like a future thing. This is kind of what's happening right now. So now we're going to be approaching a couple of mounds, and this is really a test of breakover angle and also the test of our skid plates. And so we'll try to figure out. By the way, I'm in this Cummins powered heavy duty. Yeah, there's a little bit of scraping here, but not actually a lot. Not a lot of scraping.
Got the extra ride height with the heavy duty that really helps out in obstacles like that.
Yeah. So David is saying that we have a little bit extra ride height, and it's probably just the way the vehicle sits. Yep. You know, the bigger frame, yep, and just the bigger components, mm-hmm, really, yep, that kind of help this truck.
Larger tires, right?
Yeah, 34s instead, yep, of a smaller tire. I was just saying about this Cummins engine. Of course, this is the new Cummins that came out for the 2025 model year. So new power rating, new transmission, which is an 8-speed ZF automatic. It's the column shifter that I have here in front of me. For 2025 and 2026, they're all column shift. So it's kind of you have to remember one way to interact with this vehicle, which I think is nice. And actually, I prefer this to other shifter solutions like a knobs or buttons or something like that. So that's pretty nice. And also for 2026, Ram recertified certain heavy-duty vehicles, including this one, for a higher gross vehicle weight rating of 11,040 pounds, which gives it more payload. So it's a lot more usable payload. They recertified it, verified everything. So this truck I'm in right now has about 2,900 pounds of payload, which is just a little bit over that, which is quite competitive, quite nice. And now I'm gonna go over the logs. Cole, do you wanna get out maybe a little bit and see it from the outside in the rain? Cole is very excited. Okay, so now we're going over this log feature. Just kind of testing the traction, really, right? Yep. Just kind of bumpy area that kind of challenges the vehicle a little bit and challenges us also a little bit. Thank you, Cole, for sacrificing yourself and walking in the rain over there. And David was just saying the difference in suspensions between different classes of truck. Obviously, this is a 2500, so it'll have harder springs. Yep. But that allows you to bring more stuff, right? I mean, you could put maybe a little camper in the bed of this truck and carry a lot more payload, and actually use all that suspension that you actually have. at your disposal. And of course, Ram does also something interesting because they have a different selection of suspension system in their heavy duty lineup, from coil springs to leaf springs in their 3500s, and also like air helpers, air helper springs in certain models. So it's not like one solution fits all. Some of their solutions are kind of based on the task at hand. So David, which articulation section do you think I should go over in
Camel
this?
humps again.
Should we do the humps?
Yep.
These are called camel humps. And these are concrete bumps that are staggered, basically showing or trying to challenge the truck to show the kind of the maximum articulation. And David was just telling me that the support team is actually in a Power Wagon, so we might be able to ask them if they could run a Power Wagon with a disconnectable front sway bar over the same area.
You feel that wheel slip you're getting, right?
Yeah.
That's that limited slip versus the locker and the light duty war locker.
Yeah, but it's not that jarring,
Yeah,
actually.
No, it pulls it in quick, and then you're able to get that forward momentum.
So actually, it's not too bad. Of course, we don't have a selectable rear locker or the front locker in this trim level, or disconnectable front sway bar in this trim level, but we're still making progress. We're doing good. And we're kind of flexing, and David, you have to hold on. We're flexing, and I'm gaining confidence as we're moving.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? All right. Well, I mean, we did kind of the toughest obstacle that you have here. I mean, as far as articulation is concerned.
Yeah, exactly. In this specific area, right?
Yes. So now, can we talk to your friends
let's
over
talk
there?
to them. Let's see if we can grab the Power Wagon.
Yeah, we're going to talk to a couple of other guys who are in a brand new Power Wagon. And we can do more. So Cole, we're going to ask some of our friends in the Power Wagon to show what the Power Wagon can do on a very similar obstacle and could see the articulation. All right, so now David and I are in the new Power Wagon. This is a Ram Power Wagon. I mean, technically speaking, mechanically it's the same as before.
Yep.
So you got 33s, you got front and rear locking differentials, and the sway bar disconnect.
Correct, and that's really what you're going to feel in this event, right?
Yeah.
Is the benefit of that sway bar disconnect compared to what we just did with the Warlock.
Wait a minute. I'm not even feeling us tipping as much.
Exactly, right? So that's where you get that large improvement in articulation, which really, really helps both capability and just customer confidence off-road, right?
And you know what? Do we have locking different?
We
do.
Yeah, they're engaged.
They're engaged. So because it's very smooth, I don't feel like the wheels are lifting as much as any other vehicle we've tested with.
Yeah, and if you just look at your horizon, right, how much the body is moving compared to what the suspension's actually doing.
A lot
right?
less.
You feel a lot flatter.
And basically, the Power Wagon is still kind of king of flex.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
And I'm flexing my arms right now. So
Yeah, and our RTI numbers as well, show that, right?
Yeah.
Whether it be our own internal products or the competition, right?
Yeah, and RTI stands for Ramp Travel Index,
Correct.
Basically, where one side of the vehicle drives up this ramp,
Yep.
and you can kind of measure and calculate
How much articulation you have. Yep. Yeah, and so essentially, right, a lot of the running gear we have on the Power Wagon is mirrored to what is on the Rubicon, right? We have the locking differentials, that sway bar disconnect really allows the customer that extra level of performance and capability. It makes this kind of the top dog when it comes to off-road performance from a heavy-duty perspective, right?
So there's one more thing we're doing. So David, who's one of the Ram heavy-duty development and validation engineers, he's going to show us a side tilt test, which is fairly extreme. It's basically just driving on the side of, oh my goodness. Hold up, we have to see it from the front. So that may not look really interesting, but let me show you. I'm standing normally, and you can kind of see the truck. Let's see how many degrees. I'm holding you. How many degrees?
Just about 30 degrees. Yep.
Oh, look at the screen. About 29, 30 degrees of side tilt. That's something that a lot of people don't experience.
Correct. Yep. And in the vehicle, we'll put you in here in a minute. It feels almost unnatural. It feels like the vehicle shouldn't be able to do it, but it's well within the bounds of the vehicle capability. Right?
I'm a little nervous. I guess I could get in when you step off this.
Yeah, we'll fall off.
Okay. Hey, David. Thanks for working with us today.
Of course.
So we're approaching, what is this called?
This is the Russian mound. It's not sure what the technical term is, but
Yeah.
it's essentially where we check our kind of rollover angles, right?
Yes.
As we're doing development work.
You know, I was born in Russia, so this mound is for me.
So you can see the angle we're at, usually 30-ish degrees. And if it's well within the vehicle's capabilities, right, there's nothing the vehicle can do even more than this. But this is kind of what we validate too, right? So
No, don't do it.
if we wanted to jump out,
Where are you going? David just left. No, he's rocking the truck back and forth. David, please don't.
so you see it's well within the vehicle's capabilities.
He's saying it's well within the capabilities, but it's not within my capabilities. All right, so we're gonna exit this 33 side tilt. Whew. So when they say they can do it, you guys mean it.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
So all of our development validation, right, we do out here, really to make sure that whatever a customer might want to do with the vehicle, or maybe even shouldn't do with the vehicle, right, the vehicle is capable of it.
That's very cool. All right, well, that was an exciting portion of this podcast. So now, as I promised you, I need to tell you what would be my favorite truck build. So as you may know, in the summer, what I do is I tow a 6,000 pound ski boat. My wife and I own a boat, our 2004 Taiga. So I don't do a lot more heavy stuff. So I wouldn't pick a heavy duty truck as much as I like some of these. Would I pick the RHO? No. Personally speaking, it's a little bit too excessive for what I need or want. I think this Hydro Blue Warlock is really in the sweet spot for me. As you know, I used to own an F-150 XL work truck that I kind of did a leveling kit. I got it a little bit more height, and I put 34-inch tall tires on myself. That combined kind of power, efficiency, was very fast, was off-road capable, so it combined a lot of different good things. I think this Warlock package for the Ram 1500 also combines a lot of those elements that I care about. Some off-road capabilities baked into this truck. You have, by the way, you may be hearing some noises in this video. These are all Ram trucks that you're hearing throughout this entire video. As it's starting to rain on us here in Michigan, let's continue. So the Warlock combines, I think, a lot of these things. Off-road capability. Payload, well, let's take a look. Just really quick. 1,330 pounds. Okay, maybe not the best payload in the segment, but also not awful. If this was closer to 1,000 pounds, I would say that's no good. But 1,330 in a truck equipped with the V8, that's not bad. But I don't know if I would choose the V8 actually, because it is $1,200 over that straight 6 turbo. Oh wow, they're doing a burnout over there. Wow. Because I kind of am liking the straight 6. The straight 6 turbo still has that 8-speed automatic transmission. In the Warlock, you're still getting all of the off-road goodies, but I would have to pay extra for the 33-gallon tank, which is about $400 or so. But nonetheless, I think the way I would configure mine, because I live in Colorado at higher elevations, we go into the mountains very often to go skiing, to go to the lake, different things. We're usually at about 6,000 feet above sea level to about 11 or 12,000 feet above sea level, depending on what we're doing in the mountains. So I'm thinking a turbocharged twin turbo engine is more up my alley. Plus, that accelerates a little bit better. I know I don't have the V8 sound, but I think I would configure it with this color, Hydro Blue, straight 6 turbo, twin turbo, as a Warlock with a larger tank. What else would I get? Yeah, that's it. And I think that truck would be about 57 grand, which is, well, before incentives, which is not inexpensive, but it's also, I think, a lot of value. So let me know what you think in the comments below as we're closing down and as we're seeing some of these V8 powered trucks kind of exercising here at the Proving Grounds. Let me know what you think. Which Ram truck is your favorite? Do you like what they're doing with the RHO as far as the updated exhaust system, optional exhaust system, and the new colors, and also the heavy duty Warlock? Let me know if you like that. And all of the, of course, options and interiors and all of the kind of the entire truck lineup. What also is missing, by the way, is a mid-size truck. Still, there's no mid-size truck here. There's no compact truck here. There is also no Ram Charger range extended hybrid or an electric truck here. So, there's still, that's still coming, right? The Ram Charger, Ram still promised, that's still coming probably in early 2026 calendar year. But the way we have these trucks now, this is kind of the current Ram lineup. So once again, let me know what you think and come back next time. And by the way, check out Carish, one of my favorite podcasts, not because it's produced by Cole, who's behind the camera, and the TFL team, but because it's really fun. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.